Hey, JC here for retirecheap.asia. Usually I'm always telling you about all the great things about Thailand and come on over and your money will go a lot further. You can get more life for less money. Well, today I'm going to teach you about something that you're going to get more of that you might not want because Thailand is in a health crisis. This is going to be a two-part series. My job is always to inform you of the important things you need to know if you're going to come live here. And I pride myself as a person living in Thailand now for over 13 years of being able to adapt to my surroundings and to the way things work. You know, they have that saying, if you live in Rome, do as the Romans do. Well, I live in Thailand, so I want to do as the Thais do. Now, a lot of people think that this TW on my hat stands for Tiger Woods. It doesn't. It stands for the Thai way. And so, when it comes to most things, I adapt really well. And one of the things I've adapted to really good is the food, the cuisine. In fact, it's one of the reasons that I actually came to Thailand was because I love Thai food. But over the last I'd say a year or so, I've noticed some changes that are starting to happen. So having said that, I might have adapted too well. So I want to talk to you about the Thailand health crisis and how you can avoid it. And any Thai who wants to take this and add subtitles to it, feel free to do so, because I think this is really important for Thais to understand as well. And if it's only in English, they might not get it, and this is something that's really important that I feel very strongly about. So, how I noticed that I had adapted too well and am having the same problem as Thais do was because when I was up in Nong Khai, I did a video, a little conversation I had with a guy named Frank. And in the post-production end of this video, I'm sitting and I'm looking at a profile of myself and going, oh my God, I gained so much weight. And it was funny because one of the YouTubers actually said, JC, you're fat. And you know something? They were right. So when I started living here, all the Thais were skinny. I sort of chalked it up to genetics at the time because they were always eating, you know, every hour or so they were munching on something and they always stayed slim. And I said, oh, it must be the genetics. But it was different than it is now. They ate snacks off of the carts that were going around, and we still have carts that run around. But the carts that they used to eat off of had these skewers of chicken and pork, and they were like barbecued over the thing. They still have those, but not as prevalent. They also had a lot of fruit carts. They had carts with cut up fruit traveling all over the place. And another thing that they did a lot of was all the Thais were walking. Everywhere they went, they were walking. If they needed to go to the store, they walked. Now, even if where they're going less than 100 meters down the road, I see everybody jumping on the motorbike and going down the road because fuel's inexpensive, the motorbike is cheap, everybody's got one, and so they go down 100 meters by jumping on the bike. There's not any more exercises. And the biggest difference is they're buying snacks not from the carts anymore, but from, guess where? Convenience stores. That's right. So what I've witnessed over about the last 10 years is staggering to me. How fast a body type can change in a culture. Everywhere I go, all I can see now are overweight people. Same as when I'm over in my home country, the United States. Everybody seems to be overweight. The statistics aren't up to the present day, and I think the problems are growing exponentially. What I mean by that is it started out really slow. You really didn't notice the changes, but now I'm noticing them really fast. And I think there's some reasons for that I want to share with you. But first of all, let me tell you how bad this problem is. The World Health Organization defines an overweight person as someone having a body mass index equal or greater than 25, and a BMI equal or greater than 30 is considered to be obese, okay? So, obesity is a huge problem in many countries around the world. And in Thailand actually ranks in the top 5 of the Asia-Pacific nations in this regard. So what does that mean? Well, it means some big problems for this culture. In the past 5 years, obesity growth rates are 36% in preschool age kids and 15% in regular school age kids. That's incredible. That's the rate of increase of obesity. So Thailand's young adults, and what we consider young adults are those in their 20s and 30s age, or 20 to 29 range, the obesity rate is over that same period of those years, are increased by 36% among men and 47% among women. This is crazy how fast that people are getting fat over here. And some of the factors contributing to these alarming statistics are pretty obvious. One is that the shift from rural areas to the cities, the reduction in the amount of physical activity and greater exposure to processed foods and soft drinks are happening. When they're back in the villages and stuff, there's more options for less processed food. And so moving to the cities is causing a big challenge because of what they're choosing now to eat. So that's making a very big difference. Another one is Thailand is a food-oriented culture. And what I mean by that is a lot happens socially around food and eating. Thais aren't like Americans where we gobble down food like a pizza while we're driving or something like that. They sit down and it's a social event. So in combination with an admiration that they have for sweetness, it's creating a big challenge. Now, they started out eating simple foods with a low calorific, that's a great word, calorific content, which means low calories. They also walked more, and they undertook more manual labor. And so a lot of things are changing. There's now also lessening control over the children, and that's happening because of now both parents are now having to work. So there's less supervision of the children, and that's causing a challenge because the children are paying attention to advertisements, are paying attention to what their friends are doing, and this is creating more of an unhealthy diet, okay? Now, another challenge that they have is in a lot of cultures, like in the Chinese culture, and there's a lot of Chinese that have immigrated to Thailand, the appearance of being chubby is considered to be like good luck and prosperity. And so when a child is chubby, we just say they're pompui. And pompui means like sort of cute for chubby. I'm not saying they're fat, but they're cute. They're chubby. Okay? And so that's attributing to some of these problems as well. Also, Thai people, because of their Buddhist practices, they have a thing about cause and effect. They live for the day, and they have no forward concept of the cause and effect of things. If something happens health-wise, sometimes they chalk it up to their karma. So they sort of live for the now, which is a great thing. It's one of the reasons I love living here and love Thai people, because of that. But it's creating a challenge for them as well. Another thing that they have that's creating a challenge health-wise is in their appearance and modesty, because they're becoming deficient in vitamin D because they want to have white skin. Appearing like that they're tan or that they're sweaty is associated by many Thai people as being working class and uneducated type people. And so they're all hiding now from the sun. You see people with full face masks, with full coats during the middle of the summer, gloves on. They cover up every part of their body so they can keep it white. Also, they're starting to use whiteners and sun protection as well that's keep blocking those UVB rays that they need to create vitamin D. So this is creating a challenge as well. And another thing that's happening is processed food and fast food is being accelerated. The consumption of these and this includes KFC, McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, all these chains of fast food restaurants have now been embraced by Thai people, enthusiastically, I might say. And children now, however, would be, it's interesting because like for somebody to be seen with, young kids, this is what I'm talking about, young kids, to be seen with a traditional like Thai dessert wrapped up in like a bamboo leaf or something, they'd be embarrassed now. And instead they want to be seen with these foods that are sort of hip or cool, which are going to be Lay's potato chips and these kinds of snack foods that we call back home junk foods. And so they're more processed foods that they're choosing. And another thing that they choose to eat is or drink is the sodas. They're not drinking. We used to drink here a lot of coconut water. Open up a fresh coconut and drink that. And now they're choosing like sweetened milk. They're big milk drinkers now, which is another issue. It's in itself. But they're also drinking colas and sugary beverages as well. So this is creating a challenge. Now, you might be saying, JC, what would be so popular and available to cause this massive change in their culture? Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to show you what significantly adds to the staggering statistics that we're talking about here. Watch. Check this out. So let's check this out. Just walking in the door. What do we face here? First thing you got is Black Canyon Coffee. And you see the bakery. Not exactly a healthy choice there. What else do we have? KFC. And this is the ice cream stand. Not exactly a healthy choice there. Pizza company. So pizza is not exactly a healthy choice either. And we have Swanson ice cream. Not exactly a healthy choice either. So, let's go upstairs, see what they have upstairs. Now, if they actually used, they could get some healthy food here cooked in the food court. But most Thais now are into fast food and junk food. And coffee's real big too. And all the coffee is going to have sweetened condensed milk and Coffee Mate or instant non-dairy creamer. There's a coffee shop. Here's another coffee shop. Coffee stand, I should say. Okay, let's see what else is available as we peruse along. Hey, there's something healthy, wheatgrass. So you can do healthy choices if you choose to. Here's waffles. Double cheese, chicken cheese. Pizza again. Now actually this is one of the healthier choices, these balls on a stick. Okay, sir. Okay, what else do we have here? These are all made from rice flour. Traditional Thai snacks or desserts made from rice flour. Very pretty, but not exactly so healthy. Let's see what else we got here. Dunkin' Donuts. They have Dunkin' Donuts. Not exactly a healthy choice there. Sawadee Cup. Dairy Queen. And I hope you're watching as I walk around at the body styles of the people that you're seeing. Very few now look like this girl here, which is relatively thin. And here, this is the bee. I forget what it's called, Busy Bee or something bee. It's all baked goods. Baked goods and pastries. Oh, what do we have here? Mr. Bun. Now, if you could smell Mr. Bun, you'd see why people line up for this, because it is very aromatic. They bake them here, and you can really smell them cooking. Oh my God. I can see why it entices people. What would you say? Well, okay, JC. What about if they go shopping? What are they shopping for? Well, if you stay in the exterior of the store, the outside aisles, you can actually eat fairly good because it's going to be all fresh foods. It'll be fresh vegetables and meats and things like that. But let's go see what a lot of these people are opting for as far as food choices. What's the biggest aisles? The aisles with the largest amount of one type of food. Let's see if it's a healthy food. Now the word for snack in Thai is kanom. Okay, so here we have fresh fruits and vegetables, so they can eat this way if they choose to. But more and more are opting not to because they don't cook. A lot of these younger Thai people, you ask them, do you cook? They say no, because it's so convenient to eat out. And traditionally they snack. Now traditionally there were people cruising up and down the streets with satay sticks with chicken or pork on a stick, barbecued, or fresh cut fruit, a number of options. But now they're choosing to go into 7-Elevens and the convenience stores and getting what they call kanom. So let's see what's available as far as kanom. Now, instant soups. Instant soups are nothing but sodium and empty carbohydrates. Check this out. This is a whole aisle, both sides of choices of instant soups. But check this out. These are all instant soups. Just add hot water and you got a meal. A lot of people sustain themselves on these because they're cheap and they're fast. Check this out. Amazing. How many choices are instant noodle soups there are? Now another option we're going to check out now is the aisle. You see how big this is, okay? Amazing. Let's check out the potato chips, because potato chips now have become a very big seller. People love chips. This is the candy aisle. Check out these little these little lozenges that they suck on, these small candies. They sell them by the bags and bags and bags. So those are very popular as well now. Cookies, very popular. Foreign noodle soups. So we're in the foreign food section now, the imported. So you have more instant noodle soups, some pasta. But let's find the potato chip section. I think you'd be amazed. Tina leiไหมเลที่นี่เหรอโอเคครับคุณครับ Okay, so more of these snacks. See, no, there's 2 aisles full of snacks. Look at these, the chips start here. Okay, and they continue on down. Look, it's empty shelves because they're such a big seller. Look at all these chips and the choices of chips. Amazing. Check that out. So as you can see, this is what's contributing to this obesity and to the diabetes. So there you go. So experts say the country's sweetness addiction is partly responsible for one of the fastest growing diseases, and that's diabetes. Nearly 1 in 10 Thais now suffer from diabetes. It's crazy. It's a rate even worse than America, which is 1 in 12. This is crazy statistics. Statistics from the World Health Organization for causes of death in 2010 indicate diabetes now to be the 3rd largest cause of death in Thailand after strokes and coronary heart disease. So deaths from this cause totaled nearly 7% of all deaths recorded in 2010. 7% are contributed to diabetes. This is crazy. It's a figure which is more than double the global average. 2/3 of diabetics, according to the Inter-Asia estimates, now live in the developing world. And in Thailand, according to estimates, half of all diabetics are oblivious they even have the disease. It's estimated 50% of those people with the disease are not even diagnosed. And the disease translates from Thai as like sweet urine disease. And the reason they call that is because in the rural provinces, they sort of self-diagnose themselves because when they pee, the ants come around the urine because of the sugar content in it. And so that's how they're sort of self-diagnosing. They don't go to the doctors for diagnosis. And so a lot of people aren't even aware they have this. So what happened to me specifically was that is the same thing that was happening to Thais. What was causing me to have my challenges with weight was a number of things. One was less exercise, and the other was eating high glycemic foods, high glycemic carbohydrates specifically, and at bad times during the day. So by doing that, this causes a number of things to happen. But 2 that really affect these statistics that we're talking about are the hormonal changes that happen in your body. And specifically in the insulin and leptin areas of hormones. I won't get into the specifics. You can do your research, but I can tell you I wasn't eating that much and I was still packing on the weight, which was really alarming to me. I couldn't understand why I was blowing up so quick. And so high glycemic And high saturated fat, what it does is wax out these hormones, wax out a lot of hormones, but specifically leptin and your insulin. And what food combinations would do that? Well, let's see if you can, see if these foods sound familiar to you. Baked potato and sour cream maybe? Or bread and butter? How about eggs and toast? Pizza and cheese? You don't eat any of those, yeah, I'm sure. No problem for you, all right? So anyway, these are the kinds of things that combine this fat content with the high glycemic carbohydrates, these simple carbohydrates. So you're probably saying, well, JC, what about Thai people? They're not eating bread and butter. They're not eating baked potato and sour cream. That's true. But what they are eating is pizza is very popular as a fast food item here. They're eating ice cream as another popular snack food here. Chips and other snacks that are made from corn, wheat, and sugar and salt. And you saw them on the video as I was walking through the grocery store. So they love now another thing that's come into light just recently, and it wasn't this way a long time ago. In fact, when I first started moving, when I moved to Thailand, and I went over to like Laos, and they had all this great baked bread. They had these rolls and baguettes, and I was like, wow, they have bread. Thailand didn't have any. Well, that's changed now. They love their baked goods. They love their pastries. There's baked goods. In fact, you probably saw one or two of them, even in the video that I showed you as I was walking around. They love this stuff. So, even when traveling, now it's funny because like if you go on the bus and you travel, they give you snack foods on the bus. Now here's a box that they gave me on my last trip on the bus, and let's see what's in here. Oh my gosh, a little bun with a piece of hot dog inside. Oh, that's great. What's this one? Oh, rolled up snack, cake, a rolled cake, and another one, another cake. See what I'm saying? Even when you're traveling, what they're giving you is the same kind of foods that are causing the problems. So why are these creating problems? Well, about 10 years ago, there was a report written by a scientist. And nobody really paid a lot of attention to it back then, but now people are paying a lot of attention to it. Now it's becoming sort of a fad. And what he wrote was that 2.5 million years ago, people were like hunter-gatherers, and they were walking around and basically eating fresh foods. There was no processed food. There was no agriculturally produced food. It was just they were walking around hunter-gatherers. And this has now become a fad, and hopefully it'll stay around, but it's called a paleo diet or Paleolithic. And we want to get back to eating what we ate 2.5 million years ago, all the way up to about 10,000 years ago when we started to produce agriculture and stuff like that. And so what happened was during those 2.5 million years, minus 10,000, what our bodies did is adapted to what was around us that we were able to eat. And our body's DNA altered to adapt to that food. Only the last 10,000 years have we ate processed and farm foods. So the hunter-gatherers ate what was available to them. Now, these foods I'm going to talk about in the second part of this video, but it's interesting because if I compare it to Thailand and when the Thai people were thin, it's very close. In fact, up in some of the villages, you could actually say that some of those villages, the people that are up there, especially the elder people, are hunter-gatherers. They're not eating this high glycemic snack foods like the younger generation are. They're really close to that hunter-gatherer lifestyle. And but even in the remote villages now, people are opening like little stores. They're going into the towns and buying all the snack food and stuff like that and bringing it up to the village and opening up their own little stores in their homes and garages and stuff like that and selling this stuff. And of course, all the younger people and what they're watching on TV is influencing their decisions of what they're eating. So it's changing fast, even up in the villages. But luckily, the older, less affluent Thais still don't eat the problem foods that we talk about. They don't like the sugary carbohydrates filled with saturated and trans fats. They're just not interested. It's not appealing to them. So, let's see what happens when we eat these foods. What happens is when we take in highly saturated food and high glycemic foods at the same time, there's a big jump, a sharp increase in the sugar in our blood. Our blood sugar goes up. So what our body does in response to that is our pancreas starts producing insulin. But the challenge with that is, and what's happening to some people that keep eating these foods constantly all day long, is that their blood sugar is high all the time. And so their body's always trying to produce this insulin. And as they do this, what's happening is they become insensitive to the insulin. And this creates some challenges, because if you keep doing that over time, you become insensitive to insulin and leptin. And it's widely thought by scientists now that insulin insensitivity causes metabolic syndrome. That doesn't happen to you, does it? My little doggy friend here sitting talking to me. When you become insulin resistant and you get these metabolic syndrome, what we call metabolic syndrome, this creates challenges like type 2 diabetes, high blood sugar, low HDL, which is high density lipoproteins, which is your good cholesterol, and other illnesses as well. And so in the U.S., 35% of all the deaths are attributed to illnesses of the heart and blood vessels. This is crazy. And to further complicate things, it's perpetuating. And what do I mean by that was, after we become insulin insensitive, we also become leptin resistant. And now, why would that be a challenge? Well, the hormone leptin controls a couple things, but mainly it controls a lot of things, but mainly it controls appetite and your energy. What I mean by that, it tells us when we're hungry, when we should eat, how much to eat, when we become full, and how much movement and exercise that we take on as well to stay at our optimal weight. So you can regulate, it also regulates like your metabolism to burn more calories even at rest. So your metabolism will speed up and burn more based on this leptin hormone. It knows how to regulate all this stuff. Even when you're not doing anything, it can burn more calories. So I'm sure you've seen thin people who they eat a little small portion of food, and then you say like, okay, well, you should eat more, and they just tell you, well, I'm not hungry. Well, it's real interesting that they say they're not hungry, because that's leptin at work. Or people who eat bigger portions but are constantly active, and you seem to not be able to get them to sit down and rest. They're moving constantly around. And what it is their body is telling them to move to burn the excess calories. Again, that's leptin at work. What you don't see, contrast to that to the lethargic people that don't do anything, that constantly eat these snacks and sugary foods. They keep eating, and it seems like they're never full, and they never have energy to do anything. This is leptin they're leptin resistant. In other words, their body is not responding to the leptin in their body. And they might have high insulin, high leptin, but their body is not paying attention to it. It's becoming insensitive to it. Okay? So, to add to all the Thai people's challenges, I mentioned this before, is they don't want to have dark skin. They sort of hide from the sun completely, and they use whiteners in every skin product here on the market. And so what they've done now is that's created them to become vitamin D deficient as well. Now, why is that important? Well, because what I'm going to tell you to do for you all to stay healthy, and how you need to change a couple areas of your life, but one of which will be diet. The foods are not going to have vitamin D in them, because most people don't get their vitamin D from the sun anyway because of our lifestyles now. Not my lifestyle. You can see I'm at the beach. But most people don't get sun. and because they work indoors. And so now what we've done in most Western countries, and including Thailand, is they supplement milk and dairy products with vitamin D so that people are able to get that vitamin D that they have to have. Now, if you don't eat dairy products, guess what? That's going to create a challenge. And the hunter-gatherers were not sucking on the tits of cows and stuff like that and making cheese. And so we're going to sort of eliminate those dairy products for you to be able to get your health back on the right track and stay healthy. And so vitamin D is going to be really important, and I'm going to talk about that in the second part of this video. So why am I telling you all this? Well, I want you to be aware, first of all, and secondly, I want to tell you how to avoid these problems if you're living in Southeast Asia. So this is really important subject to me. I've seen this with my members. I've seen it with people that are either coming over or already here. Some people say, I'm going to come over to Thailand, I'm going to get healthier. And for the first, I'd say, year, that tends to happen because they are moving around more, they're sweating more, a lot happens. But then they start to adapt to the heat and they start staying out of the heat. Hot parts of the day, they stay inside in the air conditioner, which is a good idea. But it's starting to create some challenges. And they love Thai food. The people who love Thai food is creating some challenges as well. And so what I want to do is to inform you all and keep you healthy, and also hopefully some Thai people will watch this and maybe change some of the things that they do as well so that they don't become a victim of diabetes and heart disease and these kinds of things that are afflicting so many people. I want you to come over, and I want Thai people. I love Thai people, and I want to see them stay healthy too and get back on track. So join me in part 2 where I'll show you how to stay healthy living in Southeast Asia or anywhere in the world, really. So this is JC signing off for part 1. I'll see you in part 2.